All right, so this is kind of a general kickoff meeting with half the salespeople. So just say hello, everybody.
Hi.
Hello.
Hey. Hello.
Long story short, I'm the CEO of Dealer Synergy, and I installed this department about 5 years ago. A lot has changed since then. Now my company has been around for 10 years. So when I first came here, it was like only 5 years old. So now we're double the experience, double the success, and I have a lot more knowledge. We were talking to the two coordinators that have been here for a while, which is basically, Brooke and Weston. They basically said, honestly, that you guys, not you, but just the dealership itself, for about 4+ years now, have not been using my system. So you guys are not using the processes, not using the scripts, not using everything, and that's why it's off the track. Can you attest to this or not?
Yes.
Okay, so it's basically true. Okay,
Yes.
so how can you tell your colleagues here, the salespeople, how the information relaunch, all the stuff I've shared with you the last 2 days is going to help you?
It's going to help a lot. When we do our word track, when we do our TOs and everything else, it's going to help. It's going to help us, and it's going to help the salespeople, I think, a lot better.
The couple things that we identified is the CRM is not the CRM for ADP, but the Dealer Peak tool is not set up the correct way. It's not being utilized the correct way from the internet side or the showroom sales side. So Sean temporarily is not going to be doing anything else except for getting the CRM straight. Once the CRM gets straight, and I mean Dealer Peak CRM gets straight, it's going to get relaunched. And once it gets relaunched, you all are going to go through training from either Dealer Peak and or Dealer Synergy. So we need everybody, all the salespeople, to understand how to use it, because right now there's no notes in there. So let's just say one of the coordinators TOs the deal and gives you an opportunity. They have no idea what's going on. Okay, and we went through dealer after dealer, prospect after prospect after prospect inside the CRM yesterday. And I think there was like 5 people that all the notes were all jacked up. Am I correct?
Correct.
Okay, so that's something that we need to work on. Besides that, they kind of got off on the script. They're not using the process. And we're not talking about like monkey scripts or telemarketing scripts. We have a strong process. They're not using the outbound phone call process, the inbound phone call process, or the objections and rebuttals. There's a couple things I'm going to show you that we have now that we didn't have before. I don't have the time, or you don't have the time to go through this right here, but we have a complete online video-on-demand training, tracking, testing, certification platform. So I just want you to kind of see the level of technology we're going to provide your team. So this is, it's going to just show you what it looks like. So we have all the subjects that we turned on. It's almost like a cable network. So the subjects that we turned on is just internet sales, phone sales, and BDC, but we have everything from showroom sales, objections, and rebuttals. So when you click internet sales, we believe that an internet department is made or broken in 4 key categories: products, people, process, and promotions. So under process, so these are all of our videos. So we're going to go through just price response 1. I'm not going to watch the whole thing. It's going to show you the technology they have.
Price responses. You waited for it. Here they come. This series is where we're going to get into the actual word tracks, the scripts, what to say, when to say it, and most importantly, how you're saying it and why you're saying it. In this series right here, we're going to talk to Shannon. Shannon is the prospect. She's going to be responding, and I'm going to go back and forth. I want you to hear the dialogue. I want you to hear the volley. There's nothing wrong with a back and forth. Think about it. A tennis match or a ping pong match is going to be kind of silly if you just spike the ball, and that's going to be funny, but silly. What you want in a conversation, it's okay to have a back and forth. It's okay to have a volley of objections, rebuttals, qualifications, expectations, answers, responses. I want you to hear it. I'm also going to call out what step that we're on, and then after this video, we're going to elaborate what you just heard. Let's go. Step 5. Quick question, Shannon. Have you ever purchased a vehicle online before?
No, I haven't.
You haven't. Step 6. Just so I know, what were you looking to accomplish by going online?
I have a budget just like everybody else, so I definitely want the best price for my vehicle.
Totally understand. If I wasn't able to get you the absolute best deal, Shannon, I would never expect to buy a vehicle for me. Okay?
Okay.
Step 7. Other than price, what else is important to you in deciding where you're going to purchase that next vehicle?
I want to go to a dealership that has the vehicle available.
Okay, so again, I'm not going to turn this into a training session. I just wanted to show you that not only are they going to go through 5 days of complete training, 2 days with me, 3 days with my trainers. The next 3 days, they're going to be drilling outbound phone call process, inbound phone call process, objections, rebuttals, etc. What also is going to happen is they have this online university. It's a video on demand training, tracking, testing, certification platform. On top of that, I've got a team of people now that are backing me up in New Jersey where on a daily, weekly basis, we're going to be doing mystery shopping, call monitoring, phone coaching, and phone training. Does that make sense to everybody? So this is 99 million% more support than we were able and equipped to handle 5 years ago. We have way more technology. Now, why am I telling you this? Because it's come up, not anybody in particular, so that's why Dan's in here. And this is coming from, Shane will back me up on this. I've had the coordinators and the internet directors say that basically the attitude of the salespeople is that like this department is like the bastard department. They don't really take their girls seriously. They're like your internet bitches. They, go do this, go do that. Literally, that's what they're saying. And perception is reality. Again, it might not be so, but perception is reality. So they feel like, it's like go do this, go do that. It's all the grunt work. Here's something, they just took it off here. I had it on the whiteboard. They're no longer doing BDC. So for now on, effectively, immediately, they're not doing unsold showroom traffic. They're not getting, keys. They're not doing reception work. They're not doing go for work. They're not doing greetings. All that stuff is gone. The only thing that they're going to be doing is pounding the phone. So let me explain this for you just really quick. I'm going to go to the board so you guys understand. They're going to be tasked to make or take about 120 phone calls in a day. Out of that, they're only going to have an 11 to 14% connection ratio on the phones. So listen to this, it's really important. It doesn't matter if it's me. I own 7 companies and all this other stuff. I've known this 15 years, blah, 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 blah. If I worked here and I made 120 phone calls, I'm only going to connect with 14 to 16.8 people in a day. That's it. The biggest value that they are for you all, understand it clearly, so you're not wasting your time, dialing for dollars. Because the majority of people are never going to answer the phone. The equivalent that I told them, and I use this as a prop, is they're like digging in the sand. That's what their job is to dig in the sand, and go, watch. Oh, I've got a shiny object. I might have a deal. That's all their job is. So their job from open to close in shifts, from 9 to 6 to 11 to 8 in shifts, is to pound the hell out of the phones and get the prospect on the phone. That's it. Every time they're getting up to do greeting, every time they're doing something else, it's costing you money. The way that I explain this, think of a barbershop, okay? So if you've got a barbershop and it's got 5 chairs in it, how does the barber, let's say Dan owns the barbershop, how does Dan make money? Ass is in his seat and barbers cut hairs from open to close, yes or no? Yes?
Yes.
The more times there's people that are, the more that there's empty seats, or people got to leave early, or there's there's no barber to cut hairs or whatever, there's no customers in the chairs, it's all money dropped. So think of their computer terminals, they have to be manned. So here's the situation. Before I get into what I need you all to do, is we need to change the paradigm. And I understand it's not all the salespeople. I know that sometimes it's craziness on the internet side or whatever. All that's over. I'm not blaming the internet people. I'm not blaming the salespeople. I don't even give a crap before I got recontracted what happened before. But to go forward, this is not going to work unless everybody's on the same page. Dan just sat in, and Shane, on a major dealer group's Chevy conversation I just had 10 minutes ago, yes or no?
Yes.
I was an internet director. This is from Andy Moore Chevrolet in Indianapolis. We just took the store. We just put another $1.3 million on the books in less than a year. We just took a store from doing 185 a month to 250, 260 units a month. They're netting 50 additional internet deals. We took them from 60 to 135 internet deals. They own 9 stores. So not only are they giving us 5 more of their other dealerships in their dealer group, I'm now training their entire showroom sales team. What you guys might not know, because the last time I wasn't contracted for Showroom, is that I'm a 30-car salesperson. That's what I average when I sell cars. I work with about 22 different associations, from the Detroit Dealer Association, for example, to New York, Massachusetts, and a whole bunch of others, including NADA. And I teach GMs, GSMs, and salespeople how to sell cars, how to make, $125,000 a year plus in a store. I'm going to get into that in a second. I want you all to make money. The biggest way that you all can make money here is by helping the department grow. If you guys don't want to do that, I'm cool with that, but here's what Dan has approved. And I got it on video, so when I say it, I want you on Dan's face to say, "Attaboy," all right? Going forward, if the salespeople do not cooperate with the coordinators, there are going to be no more leads. Dan?
Attaboy.
There you go. So that means the following: if they turn around and do a TL, let's just be specific. If Brooke gives, your name, sir?
Joe.
If Brooke gives Joe, Sean Bradley's internet prospect on a 2014 Showroom, and it's now your responsibility, you have to turn around and put the notes into Dealer Peak. If you don't put the notes in, we're not going to just stop you right there. She's going to ask you, and then if you turn around and say, I'm just not doing it, then there's no more leads. There's just no more internet deals. Now, if there's an attitude, because you don't have to mention any names, it's not appropriate, but you had said to me specifically there's salespeople that don't want to deal with internet people unless they're deals right now or what have you. Can you explain, not who, but what was said?
Right, like you won't take some people won't take the lead seriously if it's not, if they're coming in now and they're serious about purchasing and, they're going to buy it tonight. Otherwise, it's just sort of...
Let me explain something to you. 92 to 99% of Americans go online before they step foot into the dealership. 92 to 99%. What we're doing here is we're just getting people into the door. Let me explain to you the basic math. If we suck, it's literally about a 50-50-50 ratio approximately. The real numbers is you're about 30, let's go through them. You're about a 11 to 14% connection ratio. Then you're about a 25 to 33% appointment made ratio. Then you're going to be probably about a 62 to 67% show ratio, and you're going to be about a 45% selling ratio. So long story short, you're going to be under 50% appointments made. It doesn't matter how good they are, they're only going to make 25 to 33% appointments, understand that. But with our training and with the right support, they should be able to get over 60% of the people, maybe even up to 67% of people to show up. Here's the reality though. There's a possibility they give you a prospect, an appointment, and they might not show up. It's not because they are stupid or they suck. It's because that's just the way it is. That's like me saying to you guys, what's your closing ratio on the showroom floor? 18-20% is national average. Does that mean you suck if you have 500 people here and only 100 people buy cars? How could you let 400 people out the door without selling them a car? It's the same thing. It's not fair. It is what it is. It's only about an 18-20% closing ratio on the floor. Your coordinators are only going to have a 55 to 65% appointment show ratio. Does that make sense? So just by understanding what they're supposed to do. The other thing is this. I don't want to work. Josh, I'm going to put you on Front Street for a second. I saw Josh was working a credit deal. We talked to Brett. That's never going to happen again. I do not want to work credit deals over the phone anymore. And, this is coming from Brett, who is the GM, correct? Or GSM?
Yes.
GSM. When he wasn't aware of that. Again, that was from another manager. He's overriding the other manager that turned around and told him to do that. You don't want to work credit deals over the phone. I don't want to look at their credit bureau. I don't want to do that. Get them into the dealership. You do not know if they ever have a co-signer, or if you make them fall over the vehicle, they magically find an extra $1,000 or $2,000 to put down to get approved, right or wrong. Okay, so we're trying to work credit deals over the phone. Not going to happen anymore. The other thing is this, is that we want to make sure that once these leads are coming through, that we have a TO person. Because I can't tell you how many times the coordinators are basically turning and saying to the customer, hold on, I'll have somebody call you back or whatever. Ladies and Josh, what is the hardest part of the internet job?
Get them on the phone.
Do you all agree with that? That's the truth. The hardest part is getting the internet person on the phone. So how crazy is it we've got a live body on the phone and we got to let the fish go back in the water because we don't have an instant TO person? Does that make sense? We're not somebody that's going to call them back right then and there, because getting them back on the phone is going to be next to difficult or impossible. We need to turn around and have somebody that's going to be instant TO protocol. So here's the vision. We're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people for now that are going to be doing this full-time in shifts from 9 to 6, 11 to 8. Remember the barber chair analogy I gave you? What I want to have are point guards. Shane is going to pick the point guards with Brett. That means this is open to all of you right now. And maybe you don't care because there's not a lot of deals coming through, but they're about to ramp up. What's going to happen is this. How many total salespeople? You have 12, correct? I'm thinking out of the 12, there should be about 4 point guards. The point guards honestly should not have the same schedule. I don't want to have 2 of the salespeople that are off on the same day. So if they're on the point guard team, then those people are basically going to be people that work really well with the department. That means these people are going to have good phone skills, follow-up skills. They're not going to come into the department and use their own process. They're going to follow the process that we are putting into place. They're going to perpetuate that. And what's going to happen is this: when they're not doing product presentation, demo drive, delivery, they will be inside the department. Let me explain. If there's 12 people, follow my math, because I know basic math skills. You are entitled right now, if you don't get voted off the island, right? You get entitled 1 internet up for every 12 person, correct? So let's just use Joe. So that means that you get an appointment every 12th person. Does that make sense? Here's the reality though. That doesn't guarantee that person's going to actually show up to the dealership, correct?
Right.
So technically, it's like every 1 out of 24 internet people, internet appointments, will you actually be able to speak to? That sucks. That sucks. You want to wait for 1 out of every 24? I wouldn't if I were you. What I would do is I would make myself indispensable to Shane and to the department. What I would do is say, look, okay, I'm already getting, that's my gimme, that's my bone. I get 1 out of every 12, internet ups I get, every 1 out of every 24 will actually show up, I get it. But if I were you, don't think of them as the goose that laid the golden egg. They're the flock of, geese that laid the platinum, diamond, and crusted eggs. He's got so many leads that are in there, they're just sitting there. So if I was a sales consultant, what I would do is go to Shane, the director, and say, okay, where do you want me? So let's say Brooke doesn't come in today until 11. I say, Joe, I want you in the internet department. I want you pounding the shit out of the phones up until 11 o'clock. Here's the catch. Whatever you make, you take. You ever see Hungry Hungry Hippo? Yes? Come on, people. I'm not that old. Hungry Hungry Hippo. The game with the...
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, good. So think of that's the game. Whatever marbles you could get are yours. Whatever, if you're in that internet department, for example, Joe, if you're in there, on top of getting that 1 out of every 12, whatever you make, you take is yours. That's the value of you being there. You're not doing BDC prison time. You're not doing internet prison time. You're not donating blood to charity. It's directly benefiting you as well. Whatever you make, you take. Ladies, and Jack, how many times there are TO opportunities with people on the phones? A lot. Do you see what I'm saying? So now, if I were you, if you want to make a lot of money, I would try to work in that department as much as possible. So Joe, just because I know your name right now, I'm going to just keep using your name, is that if I were him, I would basically turn around and work all my stuff, and when I'm not doing a product presentation, demo drive, delivery, chasing stips, I would be living in that department because that's where all the leads are. You have 600 fresh leads, and follow me, the average buying cycle is 45 to 90 days. So that means if you have 600 leads, you're not even selling 10%, people. You are selling about 20, 25 cars, maybe 30 screaming. So, and you're not even selling 5%, because here's why. Let's just pretend it was 10%. If you have 600 leads, you sell 60 units, how many's left over? Loud? 540, come on. I know you can do basic math, right? Out of 540, some are bogus, bought elsewhere, changed mind, dead, or crazy. You're going to throw away 240 of these. How many is that going to start? Like, let's just say we started this on February 1st. You didn't start with 0. They've got like 400 or 500 active real leads that are in there from the last couple months. Plus this month, they're going to get an additional 600 leads. So if they had 400 starting February 1st, and from February 1st to the 28th, they get 600, how many opportunities do they have for the month of February?
1,000.
1,000. Did you guys even know that there's 1,000 real legit leads that are in there in the month? Louder? No? That's why I'm here. So again, is that what we need to be able to do is think of this like an assembly line, okay? So the leads are going to come into dealer peak. Once they're ramped up and the CRM is trained, is really set up the right way and you guys are trained, the leads are going to get dealt out like a Las Vegas, card deck. They're going to randomly get all the leads, and it's going to be based on their schedule. If they're not here, they're not going to get dealt leads. If they're here, they're going to be trained to have a methodical follow-up process. Email, phone call, until they get the prospect on the phone. They will be trained, like you have a road to the sale process, right? They have a road to the appointment process. Just like you, when you're doing a road to the sale, if you don't spot the person, you do what? A TO, correct? It's the same concept that they're going to do too, is they have a road to the appointment process. If they cannot close the appointment based on price, availability, or whatever, they're going to TO it to either Shane or the sales professional that's in that room right then and there. And then what they're supposed to do is go on to the next one. I want them not to broom leads to you and be lazy. I want them to 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 you. You guys are like sales managers to the showroom floor. You're the internet sales managers to this department in here. Now, once they TO it, it is your responsibility. So let's just say, for example, if Melissa basically TOs it to, what's your name, sir?
Brandon.
Brandon. So if Melissa TOs it to Brandon, Brandon's working the lead. It's still going to be in her file, but you're responsible. She's not going to call the people, because then what if you're calling and she's calling and you're just stepping each other's toes? You're going to personally be responsible, but she's going to have the responsibility to chase you down and say, hey Brandon, what's going on with that person? Not every 30 seconds annoyingly, but you know what I mean, especially if you don't put notes in the file, what's going on, what do I got to do, yada yada. But it's your responsibility. However, once the prospect touches the showroom and you enter them into ADP, it's completely removed from the coordinators. It is now 100% the salesperson's responsibility. Let's turn around and say the salesperson is not able to sell the vehicle. It doesn't get kicked back to the coordinator to bring them for a B-back. Salespeople are now going to be doing their own B-backs. Make sense? I want them only focused on pounding the phones, phone calls, phone calls, phone calls, phone calls. Let's do some basic math. Anybody get a calculator out real quick? Or your cell phone? I'm going to show you what the potential is if you have the right amount of leads. Okay, just basic math. Let's just say we started February 1st. In February, there's 28 days, but there are 20 employee working days, meaning only 5 working days for the employees. So now let's do this. It's 20 days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times 120.
600?
600 phone calls. So this is what the responsibility of this department is supposed to be doing. 600 make or take phone calls in a day. Times 20?
12,000.
12,000. So it is 12,000 phone calls in a month times 0.14.
1,680.
That means they should connect with 1,680 conversations in the month of February if we started it on the 1st. Times 0.25?
420.
420. That means how many appointments that they should make. Okay? Times 0.55. I'm going to under-promise.
231.
That's 231 appointments that they're capable of making. Times to show up. 0.45. 45% selling ratio.
104.
Huh?
104.
104. 104 units. That's there. That's a big jump, people, from 20 cars or 30 cars to 104. Most likely, I honestly will say that I would range this about 80. I think, you know, Dan, with 5 people, that you have the ability to turn around and get about 80 cars maximum ability. You have to have the right amount of leads. I think that you're very close to the right amount of leads. I would really like to have at least 700 fresh leads, not 600, but you're close. So I think it is definitely realistic. Just to let you know, we overhired. I already told the ladies this, right or wrong, and Josh, I said, look, we have 4 or 5 people here. There's 6 people, one's gone, and I was smart. So we can have a potential 5 people here, but we are very capable of running this department with 4. I overhired, and I told them yesterday on the first day of training, look, you're all or not guaranteed a job here. In 30 days, we're going to review and make sure you have to memorize the outbound phone call process, inbound phone call process, objections, rebuttals, etc. Make sense? So we are holding them strictly accountable because we want the best appointment setters for you salespeople. Now, your turn. Since we're holding them accountable, we're tying their paid plans, everything into them doing all this stuff, here's what I need from you. I need for Shane to figure out with Brett and Dan, who are the internet point guards going to be. We need to get them activated immediately because as soon as the training stops, which is on Friday, we're going live. So I am going to need this department to have support. Again, it's in your benefit. There's 3 options here, guys. Option 1 is we're trying to make it fair and open it to the floor. If that doesn't work, we're going to pull 2 salespeople off the showroom. They don't take ups, and I guarantee you those people are going to sell 25 to 30 cars a piece. Think about the math. We got 2 salespeople, and you've got 5 freaking appointment setters and an internet director driving all the business for 2 people. It's going to be unfair, but we'll find 2 people. And if that doesn't work, we could go recruit from outside. I don't want to do that. I'm not threatening. I'm not disrespecting. I'm just trying to say we need help. You have the first crack at this. So please take that opportunity and work with the department because this is not an option for us. We can't run the department without people TOing the deals, helping them, and making sure they're doing everything that they need to do the right way. Does that make sense? Again,